Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Kadar FM. My name's Jenny and today I am joined by Amy and by Jazz.
Hello.
Hi there. I'm just like suddenly like, wait, that's me.
As always, we are brought to you by our patrons, people like Dark Soul 1, The Classless Bard, Honeycoves, and the Superior Space Canine. Thank you for your generous donations. We would not be able to do this without you.
Thank you,
guys.
friends.
That sounded really like insincere. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. No, we genuinely do. We wouldn't be able to do this without any of you.
So, Jazz, you were on the first episode of Kadar FM with Alex. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
We talked about cheese strings, which apparently are called string cheeses in the United States.
Of course.
That big transatlantic divide we have.
Just flipping the words around.
Yeah. And somebody left a comment that said that they suspect that you have a secret rage side.
Me?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really? They think that?
Yeah.
No. Never. What? I didn't. I'm all sunshine and rainbows over here.
Oh, mate. No, I have
No,
many logged.
Look, this was a different time. I'm a new person now. I found my zen. Why are you laughing? It's true.
Multiple times you've been made jump and then you scream, fuck off.
Look, when I made
You enter
jump,
your rage then.
That's the one thing that I can't stand is the feeling, the fear that builds up when somebody appears out of nowhere without making sound. You can imagine how happy I am that my boyfriend is basically a ninja who doesn't make a sound when they enter the room. It's wonderful.
Oh, what's the story where you came out of the bathroom, Matt made you jump and scared you and Phil at the same time?
Because it was late at night and we were coming out of the bathroom after brushing our teeth and whatever. And we just walk out and it's dark in the corridor and the only light is coming out of my bedroom and it just slightly illuminates this creature at the end of the corridor that shrieks and then I shriek and then Phil jumps from my screech.
Didn't you fall to the ground? And you had to crawl into your bedroom because you couldn't
into the bedroom. Yes.
You can tell how much this makes me laugh. It's terrible. I'm so sadistic. God, it's so funny.
I would place a lot of the blame for Jazz's
your extreme
jumpiness
anxiety on me.
On you, yeah.
I'd say after my brother, yeah, probably. You know, I spent 18 years growing up with my brother who constantly made me jump. Probably, I have to admit, not on purpose. To then moving in with Amy for 3 years of uni, where she made me jump usually on purpose.
I just realised, Jazz, that you have never lived in peace.
No, never.
You've never experienced a moment of peace.
You wonder why I have such anxiety.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was telling them earlier that my favourite thing to do is when I'd be talking to you and then I would raise my voice mid-sentence.
Just all of a sudden, you'd be like, oh, look, she's not paying complete attention. Let's see what happens if I just suddenly scream at her. I just pee a little bit.
Remember, it was this really funny meme where it was scream I love you in German at your friend when they least expect it. And I was I get so angry when people make me jump. So I shouldn't find it funny because I understand why it's so horrible. But I can't help myself. And we were sitting on our sofa in our student house and I think I was really concentrating on something. I think I was drawing, right?
Yeah, probably.
And then you literally grabbed onto my arm and screamed, I love you, really loud in my ear. And I almost punched you in the face. I was I will end your life. I was so
This
angry.
is what I get when I, express my love for people. They just want to punch me in the face. I'm like, hi Phil, I love you. And he's like, go die in a hole.
It's remarkable
No, he's not.
that
That's a joke.
you two are like still such good friends after all of this time, because I
Oh
mean
my-
the stories that I hear.
Yeah, I'm amazed Jazz hasn't told me to fuck off, to be honest.
I mean,
I did think for a second there, Jazz, you were going to say I've tried.
no, I'm just
I mean, she probably has. I just refuse to acknowledge it.
No, I'm just thinking about how you might torment me in that way, but I torment you through other people. Like that time that you had your headphones on and you were drawing, and Katie was like pretending to throw a pencil at you, and I was like, go on, do it. And then she threw it, and you like went into a rage, and then I was like, oh my god, Katie, why would you? Why? Like later on that day, we're walking home, and you're like, I can't believe she did that. I'm like, I know.
You're such a little turd. Man, if things catch me off guard, like being made jump or like, being assaulted by a pencil case, I get so angry so quickly. Like, I was ready to end Katie's life. Like,
I know. I saw. That's why I quickly was like, oh my god, why? Why would you do that?
I get as angry as quickly as I then calm down. Like, it's an absolute roller coaster.
It's great. This is why we're friends. I love it.
Like, Jazz is flight mode. I'm fight mode.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh dear.
Oh my god.
You two
poor
have known
Katie.
each other like what, since you were
Almost 7 years now. Almost 8, I think.
blimey.
No, it's 7 years
Yeah.
this year.
7 years this year.
Blimey.
In September, it'll be 7 years.
Y'all went to America together at some point, like not
Yeah.
like 2 years ago maybe now.
Yeah.
It was it was first year summer that we did that. No, second year summer.
Second year summer, yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I disassociated so hard, I hardly remember it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, you remember this thing? And you're like, wait, that actually happened? I thought I just dreamed that.
I just remember something.
What?
I fell down the stairs our first.
Oh my god, I need to recount this story from my point of view, okay?
Okay.
It's the middle of the night.
Uh-huh.
You're in a different country. You're in
The biggest house you could imagine.
a 4-story house in sort of American suburb.
Oh,
Uh,
God, so
with
good.
like gas lamps outside, so it's not very bright outside either. It's not like you've got big electric lamps, right? They're like really dim, so it's really dark, and I'm lying in this dark empty room, and I start hearing sort of like footsteps, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's probably Amy getting up for a drink or something, and then I hear this and I'm like, oh my god, someone's broken into the house. And I'm like laying there with like my sheets up to my face, like I don't want to move. If I move, they know I'm here. So I just lie really quietly, and then it's quiet for ages, and I'm like, maybe it wasn't a burglar. Maybe like that was Amy, and she might be dead, and I should probably get up and check on her. So I like slowly open the door and turn on the light, and I just see a pair of legs sticking out from the doorway next to me. I'm like, oh my god, she's actually dead. But no, what had you done? What had you done?
Because for some reason in America they don't put carpet on their stairs, and I was wearing trainer socks. Like, I don't know why I was wearing socks, but I'm like running down the stairs, and then I like slip off the third step from the bottom. Like,
I'm sure it was higher up than that.
no, it wasn't. It really wasn't.
So that extra noise was you hitting each of the walls as you came
You
down.
know me, the world's slowest faller.
It sounded like you were falling for a solid minute.
It felt like it was.
I had a massive bruise after that.
Yeah, what happened was there's the stairs, and then to the right of the stairs is a spare room. And I fall falling. I'm trying to grab onto things as I'm falling, and I grab onto the door handle to the spare room, and I fall through the door. And I'm lying there, and
you land in the prime position of legs out of doorway.
Yeah. And then I'm laying there, and I'm like, ow, so bad.
And I'm lying in bed like, just stay quiet and they won't.
I know. I was laying there for ages because I was like processing what had just happened. And I was like, Jazz hasn't checked on me. What? And I was like, Jazz? And then
You probably thought that I was just like, yeah, she's probably dead. I'll check on her in the morning.
I was like, wow, she doesn't care. Oh God, actually crying is so funny. And
God.
like, I fall so slowly.
You
It's
really
a problem. It takes me a solid 10 minutes to hit the ground. I've like got numerous occasions. There was one where we're like doing aerobics in the kitchen.
This is also the trip where Jazz got stranded in Ireland, right?
Oh yeah, on the way there, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
my God.
casual.
Jazz's
Mini adventure.
adventure in Ireland, in Dublin,
Oh God.
where you thought that I'd been kidnapped and you'd never see me
Well,
again.
yeah, because you messaged us and you're like, oh, I've got to spend the night in Ireland because like generally when you go to New York, you have to do like a layover.
Yeah.
Well, not we didn't go to JFK. We went to Newark.
Yeah.
And
That's
usually to get there, you have to do a layover. And I think your cousin thought it was meant to be like half an hour, and then it turned out it was the night.
Yeah. I just walked up to the people and I was like, my next flight's in like half an hour, and they were like, yeah, tomorrow. And I was like, oh
shit.
all right then. And I just went and sat down. I was like, Mum, I'm in Ireland for the night.
Yeah, and she booked you a hotel room, didn't she? It's really cool.
Yeah, it was actually really nice. Yeah.
And then you went off
Like a
adventuring,
spa.
which is also like something I would never do. I'd be way too afraid to do that on my own.
Yeah, it's
And
very
then-
brave.
And like you messaged us and you're like, oh, I'm in a pub. I got a pint of Guinness. There's a couple here, talking to them, and then you didn't speak for like 3 hours.
Yeah, it was suddenly like
Panic
Like-
ensued.
me and Amy listened to a podcast that I really recommend called My Favorite Murder. So when you were like, oh yeah, this really nice couple brought me a pint of Guinness, and then you went silent for 3 hours, I was
God.
like, this is it. this is the end.
I honestly thought you had been taken. I was like, I'm never going to see her again. Never going to see her again.
But honestly, though, my side of it was much more tragic. You have no idea how difficult it was for me to find the bus stop when I'm half drunk in a different country. Ireland's a different country, isn't it? Yeah. And
yes, no, very much so.
you know, you stop by and you go, do you know where the bus stop to the airport is? And you know how they have such strong accents, so I didn't understand a thing. And then I'm on the bus and I really, really need to pee.
You had to do like the pee dance to your hotel room.
Oh, it was really, really difficult. So, you know, that's why I didn't think about sending a message, because I was thinking about my bladder.
Then your iPod actually die.
Yeah.
When you were out.
Well, no, because I didn't have Wi-Fi on it.
Right. Yeah. And then you were like, I'm back in the hotel room. And then we all, you know, sigh of
Yeah.
relief. She's alive.
You're like,
Thank
oh
goodness.
my God, you actually... Yeah, that was a weird adventure. It was good, though.
And then you were in New York for a week. And then I joined you the week later. And then we spent 2
Yeah.
weeks in, well, it was New Jersey.
Oh, my
and
God.
we hung out. We went to New York a couple of times. It was real good.
The amount of times I panicked, though, like, when you got there and then I tried to call you a taxi...
Yeah.
And then they couldn't find you, and I couldn't get hold of you, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be panicking, she's gonna be freaking out, what's she gonna do? And then you just appear on the driveway. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I think
you're there.
I didn't panic because I knew that it would get me nowhere. Like, I have like really bad anxiety, but if I know that, like, if I know being anxious and panicking is not going to get me anywhere, then I will just like completely shut it off. I will stop. And then I'll just like focus on what I've got to do. And there was like a taxi rank right outside of the airport, and I just went up to them and I was like, I was like, do you guys know how to get to South Orange? And they were like, yeah, we'll take you anywhere. And I was like, all right. And I just jumped in a taxi and then got to the house. We had a really nice long chat with the dude in the taxi, which is super nice. I remember bits and bobs. I don't remember all of it for some reason. I like completely zoned out. I was like,
what happened?
Yeah, we went into New York like I think 2 days after I'd been there, and we went to this giant comic book shop.
Yeah, that was cool.
Can't remember which one it was, but it was one of the big ones, and like I just can't believe we went in there, and I just didn't log it properly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went quite far. We walked like all the way to Central Park and then like walked around the majority of it.
We walked so much.
Yeah, that was when we were like peak fitness.
Yeah.
We could walk
everywhere. It all
everywhere.
went downhill from there, folks.
Yeah. And the hill that we had to walk up every time we got back from our adventures. Oh,
and it was so hot.
God.
Buckets of sweat.
And then the worst time was when I was like, let's go to Walmart. And obviously we didn't understand quite how big America was because everything
it's just one town over. It's
yeah,
fine.
because like
You can walk there.
everything in England is like kind of within like a 3 mile radius, and 3 miles is like an hour walking, right? We were pretty used to that. And we started walking to Walmart and it just kept going and going and going, and it was so hot. And like we just couldn't find it. We didn't end up finding it in the end. We got to this road that we couldn't cross because everything in America is 10 times bigger than what it is here. Traffic lights don't exist.
We were just like, let's just go in the subway, get some food, and then we're going home, and we'll never talk about this ever again.
I know. We walked all the way back, and then we had to walk up that giant hill. Oh, the worst day. I can't believe I made us do that.
Yeah, it was something.
Whilst you were in the States, did you okay, so we got a lot of comments in a drawful video that we posted a couple of weeks ago, and somewhere else that the first I saw was, how dare we slander Hershey's chocolate.
It's so gross.
And then the second is the big debate about whether candy corn is any good or not. So first I must ask if you've had either of those two things.
Both,
I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Hershey's is like relatively available in the United Kingdom, but nobody buys it because it's garbage.
Yeah. It tastes like vomit. It's so bad.
It tastes like chewable plastic.
Ugh, I hate it.
I don't mind the Hershey's Kisses, the cookies and creams Hershey's Kisses. They're all right. They're tolerable. I'm so critical. Listen to me. But any other Hershey's chocolate, nah, I'm good. I used to like candy corn. I don't like it now.
I love it. I love candy corn. I could eat loads of it. But weirdly enough, I don't like fudge, but that's basically what it is. I think it's just because it's at a smaller scale. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is nice.
You know what I do love? Cheetos. Oh, my God.
Cheetos.
I wish we had
them years and I need them.
Oh, they're so good.
Please send me the giant bags of Cheetos.
Yeah, I think I brought like 2 big bags back with me.
Oh, they're so good.
I love me some Cheetos. But yeah, candy corn's weird. It's an odd texture. And it's like just generally it's just a weird experience.
Yeah. Well, corn isn't so ubiquitous in like the actual corn is not so ubiquitous in United Kingdom, or I would say in Europe, as it is in the United States. I believe there's like, I mean, I'm talking out my ass here, but I think, it's important because it's what grows there, and there's like cultural stuff to do with that, and that's why you get the candy version.
Right.
I can't think of anything in the UK that we've got that's similar to that, like a fake version.
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like shrimps and bananas. Again,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
weird because neither of those grow here.
I mean, you get shrimps in the water.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we do get some kind of shrimp. Yeah.
Yeah, I love seafood.
When I was a kid, sorry, speaking of bananas, this made me think about when I was a kid, my dad somehow got hold of like this like banana planting kit.
Wow.
So
Weird.
we had a banana tree in our conservatory for like, for as long as it grew that it would fit inside the building, basically.
Right.
Because in the heat of the conservatory, like this glass case, it exploded, right? It was like 6.5 foot in like 2 weeks. It was insane.
Amazing.
Damn.
Wow.
And then my dad put it in, like, had to replant it from a pot into, you know, those like flexi buckets that you get to like haul rubble in, like the really big ones. We had to replant it in that. It got so big.
Wow.
And then obviously,
did it have good bananas?
Well, we never had any bananas from it because it got so big that it started to break against the ceiling of the conservatory. So we put it outside, and in one night, it was basically dead.
Oh, that's so sad.
Because of cold.
Yeah, because I can imagine, like, the conservatory was, like, perfect for it because it's nice and hot.
Yeah. Weird that they would give you banana making kits.
Yeah, I have no idea where he got that from. Absolutely no idea.
Have you guys seen, they come in a little tin can and it's like growing your own little like love heart bean thing.
Oh, yeah.
My sister got me one of those for my birthday and I grew it, and again it was sitting in our conservatory and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and it reached the ceiling, and then it started growing around our conservatory light. It just kept going and going and going. I can't remember what happened to it. I think it just got so big my mum was like, enough.
I would consider us to have done really, really well with the one tiny succulent that Beth gave me for Christmas. That, I mean, man, that little plant, he's doing his thing. I have successfully mastered the watering of him.
You're a plant mum.
I'm actually a plant parent. It's extraordinary.
Proud of you.
And then tomorrow we find him dead.
No. If that happens now, we'll know it was you, Amy.
No. Do you remember that like Beth had a flower in the student house and we called it Virgil, and he like got so eager he like grew out of the box.
He's still alive.
Oh, is he?
He's in our kitchen and he's absolutely huge.
Wow.
Amazing.
He needs to be potted again. He's ginormous.
You've got so many plants in your flat. I love it. Like, I love all of the plants
we
you
live
have.
in a little forest. It's beautiful.
It is really beautiful.
I want to get some plants in our flat.
Virgil the plant was named for Virgil the half-orc, right? Like
The
Alex's
anxious half-orc.
really shy half-orc barbarian.
I believe so, yeah.
For our circus one-shot. That was so much fun. That was a good time.
That was a lot of fun.
I played Willy Wildfire, a Goliath pyromaniac sorcerer.
He was absolutely mad.
Yeah.
And then you had Matt's character.
Oh, God.
What was he called?
Fonda Dix.
Oh, yeah. Fonda Dix.
What was your character, Jazz?
You know, I have no idea. I can't remember.
Oh, you were a Dragonborn.
It was too long ago.
Jazz, you were a Dragonborn.
Susan.
Susan.
Susan the Dragonborn.
Amazing.
That's right. Yeah.
I think she used to knit, didn't she? Was she the one who did the knitting?
No, that was Katie's character. She attacked people with giant knitting needles.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
And then, Jenny, who were you? You were like, you were a
A
tabaxi.
cat?
I was a tabaxi. I was like an emo tabaxi rogue called Darkness of the Endless Night or something.
Yeah, some long name.
Yeah.
And you just like to steal everything.
Yes, I do. That's one shot that we did where we pulled the race in the class out of a hat, right?
And a personality trait.
Beth DM'd that. Like, there's a couple of dungeon masters actually in our party. Matt, Beth have done it before. I think that's it. Is that them? Is it just them?
Yeah, I think so. They're both really good at it.
Would y'all ever consider dungeon mastering?
Jenny, I can't even do basic maths. I can barely keep track of my own self. Imagine a whole party. It'd be hell.
I think it would be very fun to DM.
You would be so mean. You would just be...
But everyone would probably be very scared.
This goes back to that hidden secret rage side that you have.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no hidden rage side. I'm putting that out right now. I'm drawing the line. No rage.
Ooh, it's Jenny from the future. I'm jumping in here because the podcast that you're listening to had a little bit that went corrupted. The file didn't work. We lost some of Jazz's audio. So then the preceding conversation would not have made any sense without me being here telling you that. Because I don't know what we were talking about, but we went from one thing to another very quick, and it would have been weird. Anyway, I've told you that now, so I'll get out of the way. Back to Jazz.
Matt is a very interesting human, and living with him has also been very interesting, but I can't really explain why.
Well, you can see evidence of this interesting relationship on our Twitter at @SWizzico, where we post Matthew dressed as Steve Jobs, trying to sell Jazz an iPad.
When I just come out of the toilet.
Yeah.
And my most precious, vulnerable state. Yeah.
I think Matt would do very well on TikTok, but I am alarmed to give him those kind of powers.
I want to see what he does with it. I don't know if he ever told you about this, but a month ago-ish probably, Beth went out for a walk on her own in the evening, and Matt went and had a shower and then put his hair up in a towel, and I think he put a robe on or something, and he goes into the bedroom and he thinks, right, Beth will be back soon, and he lines out a circle of candles on the floor and he lights each one of them, and then he sits in the middle of the circle and records himself, and he sits there for about half an hour, 40 minutes waiting for her to come in.
God.
Just sits in the middle of this circle. Me and Phil are both home at this point as well, but we have no idea that he sat in his room waiting for her to open the door. Like, the recording, like, his phone is facing him and then the door, right? So he's waiting for her to come in so that he can, I don't know, say a one-liner or whatever. 40 minutes he sits there, and then he finally gives up, packs it all away, and she walks in like, hello, how was it? Did you have a good evening? And he was like, gets really annoyed. Like, I just packed it away. That man, if anything, is always
devoted.
Committed to the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is devoted. If he gets an idea for a joke, he will follow it.
I love the story of where he like moons you and Phil, and then you're like, I hate you, Matt, and Phil's like, nice.
Yeah, that's
like premium dynamic right there. It's so
that
good.
is a good sum up of this household. Beth doesn't even blink an eyelid anymore. Phil, nice, that's pretty cool. Me, I hate you, Matt.
I worried that unchecked that Phil and Matt would just sort of they one up each other like so quickly that they would launch to the moon in like 5 minutes. Things spring off very
Absolutely.
quickly.
There's a video on the internet of them both eating grass, so
I mean, if me and Beth weren't here, if we went away for a weekend and left them on their own, I don't want to imagine what I'd come back to. I think we'd probably open the door, see it, and then just close it again and be like, let's just go somewhere.
I think I kind of want that to happen, but only after we've installed a lot of cameras into the flat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember when you and Phil got together, right? And Matt was like, Phil's going to be my best friend. And I think he is. Like, they've both just like become one together, haven't they, really?
Yeah,
like,
they're
they
both
literally
really
have.
wacky, yeah.
They're so funny.
Actually, I think it was more along the lines of, Jazz, you have to get with Phil because I want him to be my best friend. Like, in that passive-aggressive tone that he does. I'm going to come off of this in a bit and be like, oh, I was talking about you. And he'll be like, no. And he does that thing where he just goes like, no.
When we did our podcast with Beth, Beth went away and then Matt turned up and we were sitting in the call before we started recording. I was like, we were talking about you. And he was like, oh, really? So we've talked about Matt a lot today.
He's just a very interesting person.
He's a very silly person. I remember when Phil, like you and Phil first got together, and I like how we all sort of went up to Phil and we were like, "Do you like jazz?"
That B-movie quote. I like how that has actually sort of somehow ended up in our Discord chat as well. Because if we ever get onto the topic of me and Phil, because I'm like, oh, Phil did this thing, like dobbing him out, and then being like, Phil, how dare you do this to our sweet, precious jazz? Somehow they get onto the topic of, do you like jazz? And then everyone's in the Discord like, you like jazz? And I'm like, what have I started?
What have I done?
What have I done? I can't believe you've done this.
Oh my god, I just saw a shadow of like seagulls on our roof and I thought there was a demon about ready to attack. And I was ready to defend
That
my
just
honour.
reminds me, you said shadow and instantly my first thought was that picture I'd taken of the shadow of Matt's hair bun on the wall.
It looks like the evil
like
stepmother.
the evil stepmother from Cinderella. It makes me laugh every time I remember that. And he's just like, why do you hate me?
Do you know what you've just reminded me of when we were walking back from the cinema in New York, and we'd just seen Annabelle, the latest one.
Yeah.
And we're walking back. We weren't really fazed by the movie. It wasn't really that much of a deal. We were like,
But we were like a little bit on edge.
We're like, there's some jump scares. Like, our adrenaline was up. And we're walking along, and we forgot that deers exist because we don't really see them here. And this deer sprinted across the road in front of us, and we literally, Shaggy and Scooby, jumped into each other's arms and died.
Yeah. Like, it literally jumped off of this hill that was on the side of the road and, like, just leaped across right in front of us, and we just thought it was a demon. Like, if Amy wasn't there, I would have just fallen to the floor and, like, weed myself and just, like, cradled myself. It was so scary.
Well, like I was saying...
And then afterwards we just laughed.
Yeah, like, when I was saying in the last episode, well, one of the last episodes, can't remember which one, how... things running on all fours that look like a person really, really creeps me out, like beyond, like more than is necessary, you know.
I don't blame you.
I thought it was a demon running across the road, so of course my fear came to life, and I was like, "This is it."
I'm pretty sure
how I get taken out.
It was the rake. We were like, "It's the rake. This is it. We're doomed."
It's so scary. It's so scary. I used to live in the middle of nowhere, like literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you should have been used to it.
And everyone would message me and be like, "The rake's outside your window," and I'd be like,
"Yeah,
why can't you
so
fuck off?"
Just if I ever fancied just like, you know, freaking you out a bit, I'd be like, "Amy," and you'd be like, "No," and I'd be like, "The rake's outside your window," and you're like, "I hate you."
Like, I'd be too scared to go close my blind because it was too close to the window for my liking. So I would just like lay there. I'd like just pull the blanket over my head and I'm like, "I can't see it, it can't scare me." I remember coming home really late from work one night and our dog had gotten out into the driveway. He was fine, by the way.
Oh my god.
He was a white terrier, and I like opened my door and then this white figure runs towards me on all fours, and I like screamed. I was like kicking my legs furiously.
Be gone, demon.
I was like, "Not today! I'm not dying today!"
I just want to say hi.
And then like I calmed down and I realised it was my dog. I didn't kick the dog, but like the fact that he was like, "You're home, oh my god," and then he was like, "All right, I'll go, I guess." It's like, fucking hell.
That's Harry, right? Like, he's such a sweet, a good boy as well. Like, he just wants you to love him, but
sweet,
like
stinky boy.
Yeah, he's so stinky.
He doesn't stink now. We took him to the dentist and then that sorted it out.
Like, I can't, like, when we used to play Dungeons and Dragons at your place, he would like be under the table. Like, I can't remember the number of times one of you would be like, "Ugh! Oh, it's you." Like, he would just like appear like around your feet. Yeah.
He used to like sit in between my knees and then he'd like look up at me under the table and I'd just like feel his hot breath. Like just like taking over, and I'll be like, "Oh my god."
Oh no.
Like, I can't tell you to go away because you're too cute, but oh my god, I'm gonna die.
The smell consumes you.
It's so warm here at the moment that just you saying hot breath that makes me want to die a little.
That's how I feel. You know when like a dog breathes its hot breath on you? That's how I feel right now. Like it's just so gross.
So I think to save us this gross situation,
wormhole.
I'm gonna wrap this one up here so we can open some windows and experience the joy of fresh air again. Thank you very much for joining us. We are only able to do this thanks to our patrons. You can join them over on patreon.com/shrieking-wizard if you have the need or the desire or the will to see the behind the scenes stuff and the extra content that we post there.
Do it.
You can go over to Twitter, which is at @swizardco, where you can find the video of Steve Jobs attacking Jazz.
Have you pinned that, Jenny? You should pin it. To
I'll do that now, yeah.
Here's an introduction to who we are as people.
If you want the slightly more aesthetic and less crazy version of our social media, then you can head over to Instagram, where Beth posts calm and beautiful pieces and occasionally the odd cat picture. That's at the Shrieking Wizard Co. And if you want to see what the characters have to say for themselves, you can head over to highhopestherolls.tumblr.com for Q&A. Thank you very much for listening to this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Love you so much.
Well, goodbye now.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. 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 Goodbye. I didn't know when you finished recording.